What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. If you've never been here, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Everybody else, welcome back. I wanted to discuss a little bit today about the Charlie Kirk assassination. I just want you to realize something because there's so many stories going out, so much information and misinformation being put forth on this case. But there's something that I really, really want you to pay attention to. And that is the fact, not my opinion, that is the fact that the mainstream media is not talking about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. You don't find that peculiar? That one of the most influential, motivational, political speakers, a conservative speaker, a speaker who spoke about his love of living morally correct, of living with proper values, of living a more conservative religious lifestyle as he lived, was assassinated. It is the most significant political assassination done for political reasons in decades, but nobody's speaking about it. If you want to hear about this case, you have to go onto YouTube and listen to Candace Owens speak about it. She is one of the forthright individuals who has remained steadfast in getting to the bottom of this case. ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, all these news channels are not speaking about it. And these news channels, we know, are controlled by a democratic liberal media. And they are specifically staying away from this story because what they do is they do their best, those mainstream medias, that fake news does their best to control our thinking, to control what we think about. And it works because what we think about is what they put inside of our minds continuously. See, they control the thought of the majority of the Americans by putting the information in front of them. If they want you to think about George Floyd got a year of coverage. So the media decides to cover the death of a drug addicted felon with an extensive criminal history of assaulting pregnant women, of abusing drugs, of having 17 arrests. They want you to think about that for a year. They want to paint streets over that individual. They want to name streets over that individual because the media, on purpose, tried to keep you focused on that. They tried to keep you focused on the fact that they painted that guy as a hero. But someone like Charlie Kirk, who was peaceful, who was engaged in dialogue, beneficial dialogue, to help people live the right way, gets assassinated, gets his neck blown out, but the media doesn't want to talk about it at all. I'm not going to even get deep into it, but the CIA works with the media in the information that they're going to put out. The government and the CIA works with the media to control what the public think about. They use a lot of fear tactics in the media to scare you, right? This is why there's so much good news out there. But this is why the media stations in the morning when they put on the news, in the afternoon, in the evening when they put out the news, it's one horrific story after another to keep the public believing that they need the government to take care of them. And so, in regards to Charlie Kirk being assassinated, the story that was given to us by the FBI, the story that was given to us by the police, just doesn't add up. I'm not going to get into all the facts now, but it's definitely not what it seems to be. I personally don't believe that Tyler Robinson is responsible for killing Charlie Kirk. I don't believe it. I don't believe that that was the gun that was used to kill Charlie Kirk. The gun was definitely not disassembled and assembled. The fact that Tyler Robinson was seen in Dairy Queen eating shortly after the murder, I find very peculiar. Unfortunately, I was responsible for taking someone's life. And I couldn't see myself in Dairy Queen 30 minutes later, perfectly calm, eating a meal. And this was a young kid. This wasn't someone who went around murdering people. You're telling me that he wasn't panicking? He wasn't shook up? He wasn't running for his life? But they have video of him in Dairy Queen, just standing there. The video of the person walking in a maroon shirt and in the video of the person on the roof doesn't add up. The fact that of the text messages and the language that was used in the text messages, calling a car a vehicle, doesn't add up for a 22-year-old. Calling it a squad car is not the language of a 22-year-old. Pointing out that his father was a MAGA, making it a specific point in the text messages, the alleged text messages to his boyfriend. My father has been extremely MAGA lately. Who would say that right after they killed someone? It sounds like that was specifically designed. And what we're finding out is that the text messages don't add up with the timeline. The fact that Tyler Robinson supposedly said in the text messages to his boyfriend, I want to retrieve the weapon. They don't use the word retrieve. 22-year-olds don't use the word retrieve. Military uses the word retrieve. Law enforcement uses the word retrieve. I need to retrieve the weapon from the squad, but there is a squad car present. This is not the language of a 22-year-old. These text messages were created, and it seems that Tyler Robinson is a scapegoat. Then we're told that he turned himself in, but he didn't confess. If you don't confess, what are you turning yourself in for? And then no word at all. No word at all from Tyler Robinson since this happened. No statements from any attorneys. No statements from any lawyers. There's been a lot of speculation based on some facts that Charlie Kirk was taken out because of his newly framed opinions on Israel. Um, so I can't really speak to that. Candace Owens goes in deep into that right there. But there's something very peculiar, and as I said, the mainstream media is taking away from this story altogether. They don't want us, they don't want you to think about this. To me, I believe that Charlie Kirk was murdered not by Tyler Robinson, but by some powers that be that wanted him taken out of the picture. I would say that it was definitely, I wouldn't say, I can't use the word definitely. I would say that it was liberals that were extremely upset with him. I would say that it was Democrats that were extremely upset with him. You can say that it was Republicans that became upset with him because of his non support. Of Israel, that he was drifting in. There's just so much to look into this, but I don't believe it was Tyler Robinson. And nobody seems to be trying to get to the bottom of it, except people like Candace Owens. I suggest that you go to her channel and listen to the detailed information that she gives you. Because there's so much I can't fathom it, and there's so much I can't even recall it all. And reading into it myself, studying it myself, I just get extremely frustrated because something is just not right. This 22-year-old taking a shot from 200 yards on a roof to hit him in the neck under a tent and then be seen in Dairy Queen a half hour later. Supposedly, he was sending text messages from his car where he was still in the vicinity of the building, of the roof, where he dumped the weapon in the woods. and he's supposedly sending text messages saying, I'm here, but I can't go get the weapon. I can't retrieve the weapon because there is a squad car. You mean to tell me that Tyler Robinson was sitting near the weapon for hours and nobody found him there? Where were the drones? Where were the search teams? Where was the felony apprehension teams? Where was the law enforcement that was searching the woods? They didn't see him sitting in a car nearby? And was he sitting in the car nearby for hours like these supposedly text messages, or was he in the Dairy Queen? Did he disassemble a gun on the roof and then reassemble it in the woods? If he reassembled it in the woods, how'd they find the screwdriver that he said he disassembled it with on the roof? If he didn't bring the screwdriver with him, how did he assemble it in the woods? And why would he reassemble a gun after he deassembled it? Why would he reassemble it and leave it in the woods? Does that make sense? None of it makes sense. So the whole point of what I'm telling you right now is that this is just us being lied to by the media again. This is us trying to be misled. And what they do is the government uses YouTube, uses Instagram, uses CNN, NBC, ABC to put out all conflicting stories in the beginning, to put out so much information that the people can't believe or understand what's true and what's not true. It's like the puzzle I explained in my other video. They take out pieces of the puzzle and then they throw pieces that don't belong in the puzzle. If you open a puzzle box and someone has taken out some of the pieces and thrown in pieces from another puzzle, how will you ever put that puzzle together? You will never be able to put it together because you have pieces that belong to something else and pieces that are missing. It's not possible to put it together, no matter how good you are, because they've mixed it up. And now they won't talk about it at all. Notice that. They'll talk about transgenders not being allowed in a certain bathroom for 5 years. They'll talk about the sex changes for 12-year-olds, that it should be permitted. They will talk about this for years. But they won't talk about one of the biggest political assassinations in decades. So you don't think about it. And that's what I want you to think about. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye.